Blake Lively scores a win amid her ongoing legal battle against Justin Baldoni. After the Gossip Girl alum and husband Ryan Reynolds applied for a protective order earlier this month to keep sensitive information from circulating to the public, a judge for the Southern District of New York has approved a modified version of the order.
Ryan Reynolds is jokingly calling out his wife, Blake Lively, for ditching him.
It was a big win in court today for Fakely. However, she shouldn't be celebrating too hard.
Hollywood's courtroom drama just went from shocking to jaw-dropping. Blake Lively, the beloved actress, fashion icon, and queen of effortless elegance, now finds herself at the center of a heated legal battle that's shaking up the industry. In a major victory, her latest legal motion against it ends with US director and co-star Justin Baldoni has been approved. But this is just the beginning. Lively is suing Baldoni for alleged misconduct on set and a post-film smear campaign, while Baldoni responds with a bombshell, firing back with a $400 million counterclaim. The stakes have never been higher.
There's a big update in one of Justin Baldoni's legal battles. After the New York Times filed a motion to exit the director's $400 million federal defamation lawsuit that also names Blake Lively, husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, a judge has granted the newspaper's request for stay of discovery on March 4th, according to documents obtained by E! News. The filing, which requests that the judge temporarily halt parties from having to exchange information or documents, was granted as United States District Judge Louis J. Lyman reviews the outlet's February 28th motion of dismissal. He notes in the most recent document that the New York Times, which is included in the lawsuit for its December reporting on Blake's Civil Rights Department complaint, presents, quote, substantial grounds and a strong showing that its motion to dismiss is likely to succeed on the merit.
The judge overseeing their federal case in New York, Judge Lyman, ruled on the former B-list actress's request for an additional layer of protection. The unliftable Blake was not happy with the standard protective order in the case. She wanted an attorney's eyes only designation. And the judge has granted that. Congrats to Taylor Swift. Of the judge's ruling, a spokesperson for Delulu says, quote, today, the court rejected the Wayfarer party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual's security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court.
Just when the drama couldn't get any more intense, a single moment, a sly smirk from Blake in court, has set social media ablaze. Was it a subtle victory or something far more calculated? With leaked messages, bitter feuds, and Hollywood power plays at the center, we're diving deep into everything you need to know. Strap in, because this is one scandal you won't want to miss.
The Post said a few things that when we look back now, that kind of makes sense. There were a few things mentioned that insinuates some of the drama that was going on that set. First of all, the person is saying that Blake Lively felt uncomfortable around Justin Baldoni. The person is also claiming that Blake Lively felt uncomfortable when the word "they" was used. And the person also says that, which is what I think most people are reacting to, is that Blake Lively went to Sony Studios and said, if you don't go for my cut of this movie, my version of this movie, I will go out in the New York Times and accuse Justin Baldoni of harassment. And as we know, that is what happened at a later point. But if this is true, that she threatened Sony back then to go to the New York Times and accuse Justin Baldoni of these things, that is pretty damning.
All right, let's dive into the courtroom showdown that has everyone buzzing. Sources close to the case reveal that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have been locked in a bitter legal battle for months. The lawsuit centers around allegations of defamation, misconduct, and emotional distress, with both sides throwing accusations at one another. The tension is palpable, and it's only getting more complicated by the day.
Blake Lively plaintiff versus Wayfair, then it's Wayfair plaintiff versus Blake Lively. It's a dueling lawsuit, all consolidated into one, at least for pretrial purposes. Part of the argument by Justin Baldoni is going to try to get their case against the New York Times in California to get away from some of the generous laws that exist in New York State. And of course, that's where the New York Times is located. But they argue your defamatory statements affect my client specifically in California.
If you support Justin, that you are somehow misogynistic, you hate women.
Here's where things really took a dramatic turn. During a pivotal moment in the trial, the judge allegedly reprimanded Justin Baldoni for misconduct, calling his behavior unprofessional and inexcusable. The ruling was followed by a significant financial penalty, with reports claiming Justin was ordered to pay substantial damages to Blake. While some fans see this as a justified move, others argue that Justin may have been unfairly targeted. But the big question remains, what really triggered that smirk from Blake Lively? What's really going on behind the scenes?
Why is no one talking to Justin? Why is he doing all the press alone? Why is he getting shunned in interviews? Why is he getting unfollowed on Instagram by Blake Lively, his co-star, and the lead of the movie he directed, and weirdly, Colleen Hoover, who is the author of the book.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's on-set partnership has turned into a Hollywood legal nightmare. From harassment allegations to a bitter defamation war, the drama behind It Ends With Us is more than just a movie plot. And a lot of people are making comparisons between this case and the infamous battle between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Now, let's dive into the moment that set the media on fire, Blake Lively's courtroom smirk. According to eyewitnesses, right after the judge handed down the verdict against Justin Baldoni, Blake was seen sporting what many interpreted as a triumphant, almost amused smirk. But was this just a fleeting reaction, or something far more calculated? Legal experts argue that the judge's ruling was a significant blow to Baldoni, as it highlighted the complexity of the issues involved and the need for a highly controlled discovery process. In simple terms, certain key documents will now be accessible only to attorneys, limiting leaks that could shape public opinion. This ruling alone shifts the power balance of the case, and some believe that Blake's smirk was her way of quietly acknowledging this small yet crucial victory.
Judge Lyman explains that the burden of discovery is not measured only by the number of pages. He emphasizes it is also determined by the complexity of the issue that discovery will present and the sensitivity of the documents that will be requested. The judge adds that if the court denies the newspaper's motion, Justin's team, who is also suing the New York Times in a separate $250 million defamation lawsuit, can request the extent of discovery they are seeking. A New York Times spokesperson addresses the latest update in a statement to E! News, saying, quote, "We appreciate the court's decision today, which recognizes the important First Amendment values at stake here. The court has stopped Mr. Baldoni from burdening the Times with discovery requests in a case that should never have been brought again."
As the trial continues to unfold, all eyes are now on the sealed documents and what they might reveal. Could they contain explosive evidence that strengthens Blake Lively's case? Or will they uncover Hollywood's deeper, more tangled web of power, influence, and deception? With each new twist, this legal battle is quickly becoming one of the most talked about scandals in recent memory. Social media erupted with reactions. Some say Blake's smirk was simply relief that the legal battle was over, while others see it as a calculated power move, a silent but unmistakable message to both Justin and her critics. A few body language experts have even weighed in, suggesting that her expression showed a mix of confidence and vindication.
Baldoni had apparently subpoenaed a security firm that works with the couple, and Gavrnsky argued there was no reason why their security arrangements should be made public for everybody to see. And she also raised the alarm about potential disclosure of Lively's medical information, including, quote, profound mental health issues, as well as details about her children, the locations of private residences, and, quote, personal and intimate conversations with third parties. And Gavrnsky argued that while these conversations might have, quote, marginal relevance to the case, their, quote, PR will be high if leaked, And she cited Baldoni's alleged connections to individuals who, quote, will do anything and hate Miss Lively, claiming he was operating on an unlimited budget and had, quote, committed $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family. This seems to be in reference to another one of the defendants in this case, Steve Sarowitz, who allegedly pledged at one point that he would spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family.
Here's where things take an unexpected turn. A source close to Blake insists that the smirk has been completely misinterpreted. According to the source, Blake wasn't gloating. She was simply reacting to the sheer intensity of the moment. So, was Blake throwing subtle shade at Justin, or was this all just blown out of proportion? To fully understand what led to this moment, we need to rewind and take a closer look at the history of their relationship. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni are both well-respected figures in Hollywood, but what many don't realize is that their history is anything but smooth.
Baldoni team is being accused of malfeasance, of sexual harassment, and in exchange, they have filed a counter lawsuit claiming defamation and basically extortion, saying that Blake Lively tried to steal this movie from Justin Baldoni. And one of the allegations is to show the pressure that was put on Justin Baldoni, who I might refer to, for purposes of example, as a C-list actor, someone who was best known for his role in Jane the Virgin, which most people haven't even seen or heard of. In fact, before this lawsuit, many people did not even know who Justin Baldoni was because he is not at the level of Blake Lively and her very famous husband, Ryan Reynolds. So Baldoni buys the rights to this movie and starts producing the movie. And as we know, as things unfold, Blake Lively accuses him of doing all kinds of things. And as a response, Justin Baldoni and his team will come back and say, not only did we not do those things, but Blake Lively is the one that's complicit here. Blake Lively is the one that tried to steal this whole entire production out from under.
Insiders reveal that Blake and Justin were once on friendly terms, even collaborating on various projects. But somewhere along the way, things took a dramatic turn. Rumors suggest that a major fallout over a film project created significant tension between them, with accusations of backstabbing and betrayal surfacing. What seemed like a solid professional relationship quickly spiraled into something far more complex, and the cracks began to show.
Now appears like a lot of that drama was fabricated by Justin Baldoni's PR team, according to Blake. When the movie was released, there were a ton of rumors surrounding disputes that happened on set, that there was a feud between the two actors. They refused to appear together to promote the film, and there was a ton of public backlash against Blake for how she was responding to questions about domestic violence and would kind of joke or make light of it. And she also was accused of using the opportunity while talking about these sensitive topics to self-promote and push her new hair care line.
Some industry insiders claim that Justin initially approached Blake for a role in one of his directorial ventures, but due to creative differences, the collaboration never came to fruition. Was this the spark that ignited their bad blood? We may never know for sure, but what's clear is that their relationship slowly deteriorated over time, eventually culminating in the courtroom battle that's now gripping Hollywood by the throat. The tension between them has reached a boiling point, and it's no longer just about the project, it's personal.
You cannot find simply one picture of Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni online. You can't find one on the red carpets. I have not been able to find anything. If you Google Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni, the only pictures that come up are Justin alone, Justin with his wife, Ryan and Hugh Jackman, or Ryan with Blake Lively. There is something going on. It's bigger probably than we can even imagine. I love the spin that they're trying to say that because Justin Baldoni plays a character that is physically abusive in the book/movie. If you haven't seen or read the book, that is what a lot of it is about. And because he plays the villain, they're trying to kind of like separate him out. Do you believe that he was the source of the issues, meaning he saw this movie as something else? He wanted to run this production in a different way than everyone else did. He had different intentions for this film, and it went against every single other person, including the author of the book. Did Justin Baldoni want to make this movie a really dark, depressing, serious film where everyone, including Colleen Hoover, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Jenny Slate, maybe the studios, who knows, wanted to make it more of an uplifting, like, flower film, which is what you see in all the promos? Because Blake Lively doesn't exactly equal, like, serious dramatic actress. She is synonymous with, like, the Taylor Swift, Swiftie generation. And so between her and Ryan Reynolds, who runs all these, like, funny comedic type films, is there a world where they were thinking that, you know, they wanted It Ends With Us, which is a book serious, like, about some serious DV issues, like major drama. You know, it's not just like a happy movie or a happy book. It shouldn't be. Is that what the issue is? What could have been the issue?
But here's where things get even more interesting. Taylor Swift has now been pulled into the drama. Judge Liz recently ruled that Swift possesses relevant evidence in this case, making her a material witness. While it's unclear exactly what Swift knows, sources speculate that her close friendship with Blake Lively could have given her insight into key events behind the scenes. Given Swift's history of calling out industry injustices and manipulations, her involvement could add an entirely new layer of complexity to this already explosive legal battle. Could Taylor's testimony tip the scales in Blake's favor, or is there more to this story than meets the eye?